guys know what MGM was? Big film studio. Yeah.
If you're wondering why he had to make film a gun, it's because was bugged by the FBI. At that point, I was too young to quite grasp the bug calls, but I did know that my father had been one of six lawyers who had just defended the Hollywood 10 in front of the House Un-American Activities Committee in Washington.
Okay, somebody like to pick up the next paragraph? Yeah.
If you're wondering why he had to make
The next paragraph.
These were writers like Waldo Salt.
these were the writers like Walter Salt, directors and producers who have been subpoenaed.
Subpoenaed, thank you.
To testify about their political beliefs.
Hold up, stop. Do people know what subpoena means? Okay, it means when you have to go to court. Like, you get a subpoena, that means you have to come and testify whether you like it or not. If you don't testify, you could be held in contempt of court and put in jail. Go on.
But they stood up their First Amendment rights and refused to reveal whether they were communists. After the hearings in October, the Hollywood 10 were indicted for contempt. In the weeks that followed, it seemed as if the studios would oppose any further HUAC attempts.
Yeah. HUAC.
Oh, you just HUAC?
Yeah, that's how they pronounce it.
HUAC attempts at censorship. But on November 24th, the studio head did about face and instigate their findings.
Okay, I think that's a good place to stop. If folks want to read the rest of this on their own, they're certainly welcome to. I think right now would be a good time to play a couple of film clips for you guys. Hollywood Blacklist is what it was called, was a list of professionals who were not allowed to participate in the entertainment industry due to their suspected political beliefs. A great many of them were not communists. Maybe had, in college, had sort of an interest in going to a meeting. I don't know if any of you guys have ever walked down Telegraph Avenue in Berkeley and had somebody hand you, the socialist newspaper. They invite you to a meeting and all that kind of stuff. Well, it was just that simple for some people. They had curious interest, went to a meeting, and the next thing you know, 20 years later, they've lost their jobs. And it really did have a severe impact on a great many people. I wanted to share with you guys just a little bit of the Hollywood Blacklist from the point of view of the daughter of Bartley Crumb. Bartley Crumb was a screenwriter. And I thought maybe we could do a little bit of a read around, if you guys would be okay with that. You guys have one? You don't have to read the whole thing, but I would like you guys to just go through it, okay? So, we're reading down this one. So, you want to start?
Sure.
Go for it.
On the last day of last month, the Screenwriters Guild West, representing more than 7,000 writers, quickly took action at its board meeting to restore 10 writers' screen credits from 24 films like Rogue, Hellcats of the Navy, Inherit the Wind.
Okay.
Also, the book was kind of dissing communism. Well, the Crucible, like, if you think about it, like, the religion is the, or, like, saying, like, the devil is, like, compared to communism, that's the relationship, and then saying, like, oh, no, I believe in God, I know I believe in God, kind of thing, is like saying, I don't believe in communism.
That's right.
So it was a parallel saying, showing that he didn't believe in communism.
That's exactly right. And I think also, too, having to do with ideas. It's not illegal to have an idea. It's not illegal to free think. As Michael pointed out in our class, I think last week, it is illegal to try to overthrow the government. It's not illegal to think about it. So
why are people getting in so much trouble for thinking?
that is an excellent question. It doesn't make any sense in this society. And as a matter of fact, has anyone seen the film Midnight in Midlife?
Mm-hmm.
I would strongly advise you to see it. Hopefully we'll be able to show a clip from it today. There was a journalist named Edward R. Murrow who finally went toe-to-toe with Senator Joseph McCarthy, who is sort of the mouthpiece of all of this. And he had a famous quote where he called him out and said, "You've ruined all these people's lives. Some people have committed suicide. They've lost their jobs." And he says to him, "Have you no decency, sir?" And that was when the nation got to see on national television what a buffoon Senator McCarthy was. And that is when basically the Red Scare started to peter out. Now, did we still have fear of communism, and was there a threat of communism? Maybe.
I have a question though.
Yeah.
Where did McCarthy get all of these ideas from? Did he just like pull them out of the air?
Well, that's a good question. What do other
Like,
people
how
think?
was he raised to believe that these things, or was he just like a little messed up in the head?
Cody?
Yeah.
Well, in my point of view, he just wanted power, and he capitalized on people's fear.
It's brilliant, and the film is brilliant too. It's played brilliant. But sadly, Arthur Miller had a big falling out with Ely Kazan because Ely Kazan decided to name names, and he was the guy that named the 10 names that became known as the Hollywood 10 that we just saw. And I apologize for the volume. We're still trying to work out a handy projector here. Could you kind of hear it? Could you kind of get the sense of it? Okay. So the Hollywood blacklist then not only were unable to work, but each of them served a year in prison for refusing to rat out their friends, basically. Okay. So does everybody have a practice right here? Okay. Looks like this. It says practice right. Anybody else not get one? Okay. You'll need a separate sheet of paper for this practice right.
Was he like,
Kazan's?
yeah, like was it like just plummeted down, or like did he need something to get him back?
Did he rat them out because his career was waning? Is that what you're asking? No, He was afraid.
He was afraid
that they'd come after him.
So if he gave names, he probably gave him a little bit more leniency.
Right. Just like in the Crucible, you guys might notice that when people confessed to witchcraft, even though they weren't witches at all, they were allowed to live. Remember, John Proctor confesses to witchcraft so that he could save his own life and be there for his wife and his family, but then he recants that. There was a candidate running for vice president in the early 70s, Eagleton, who confessed that he had once had depression and went to a therapist, and for that reason they kicked him out. He was like that. That's an excellent question. Hold on. I think because of the Great Depression, people were thinking that capitalism didn't work anymore because so many people were out of work, I think. And so I think they were looking towards another system of government that would make sure that they, had fair work.
But like in the 1950s, it was
Oh, yeah.
the Cold War, so I mean, like I said, it was
Yeah, and by the 1950s, these people weren't interested in being communists anymore. That's an old thing. Okay, are people almost done? Right. Do you get, or like Ozzy Osbourne, right? Ozzy got in a lot of trouble for, inspiring kids to commit suicide, according to some people.
Marilyn Manson could have been tried for so many other crimes, like he dated like a 15-year-old girl and like all this stuff.
Okay, how old was he to begin with?
He's like 40 something.
Well, let's go.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so we're looking at that it is an issue that's still relevant today. We can see that. I can have one more comment, and then I really got to move on. We got other stuff to cover. Yeah.
Actually, also relate that to the political standpoint of Barack Obama receiving the Nobel Peace Prize. He didn't do anything during that term of that part, and yet he still received it.
Right.
So there was
So a lot of people didn't feel like he.
Yeah, there was a lot of controversy for that also.
Controversy over that, for sure.